Hey guys, this is a big update for Funimation, a big update for Sony Entertainment, a big update for Mood Tricks in general, but Lily, this is contributed to why Mood Tricks likes working with the community he works in, and why Lily freaking I feel for the community I work in. So Lily, this is a shout out to all the nerds. This is the big orange video, but this is the truth. Lily, this is everything that has to do with like orange, like Lily, and to make, I'm trying to tell you. Like literally fucking Sean Schimmel, my boy Michael, like this is a big video, man. This is literally why I, relate to Sean Schimmel. This isn't a full Sean Schimmel video, but this is literally certain aspects of him and certain aspects of other things that's been going on at Funimation. So this is literally replying to like literally the feedback we get from society for like literally working in the studio and literally like getting people like Bray, and like Amethyst, Shannon to cooperate, for literally putting displays out there, literally doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So this is a playoff of what's been happening. So this is a news bulletin. This is more of really informing you of what's really been going on lately for the past few weeks of with the Flash thing. So Flash is doing okay. From what I heard, he's been in and out, and he really felt under a whole lot of pressure. It's really heat out here. We have really heavy hills out here. I understood really the context. So really, what I have to start off this video with is we are delaying Nons on paper, and they just made a custom anime, literally right here, fresh out the box sleeve that represents Gabaya. It's this new anime, literally called Blue Period, literally with white hair, yellow eyes, Gabaya, literally a preview of some of the Nons animation. But really, there's a big reason why Nons is on delay. It's because of the issue of the pandemic. So let me break down what's going on with you guys. We are cleansing society right now, and we are kicking out whoever is not supportive of the movement of understanding. It's not has nothing to do with blaming everybody for this night. It's a really big thing that's been going on over time ever since the early 2000s, let alone the 2010s. The 2010s were basically the symbolism that the 2000s were gonna fail, but literally not ultimately. Literally the early 2000s, like the 2005 was when everything was in its prime, right? So like 2005 literally to 2006, and now we're getting over 2007 and everything's dead. Like literally, so get what I'm saying? Like it's not dead, but it's pure pop. Like, there's no such thing as hip hop. There's hip hop's big to 7, but literally, pop is coming a new thing. So you have to understand this is heavily tied in because literally, how that happened was people's selfless opinions and people really over opinionated, really on this song and that song. So we started making shit universal for everybody just to bop to, and we started getting a whole lot of flack because there was nowhere to fucking blame. So we created a whole system of blaming called cringe. And literally, where you can get away with anything as long as you literally spam the easy entry fee and pretend you're a leader, where you really are like a Discord server faggot. But it's really out there. We have to cleanse, the fan base on paper. I have a lot of toxic people, really. There's a lot of people who really go out there. But one thing I have to state on Funimation is we are having an issue. Like Sean got cuffed up a couple of times by me and my girl by not his fault, but doing with his past, and what he used to deal with for his abusive mother. Sean's a really realistic person. He's a really outstanding, individual, but at the same time, he always slightly made mistakes here and there, and the full conversation between me, Labaya, the cops and him we understood where he was coming from. But let me state that this is the reason why me and him had this conclusion. It wasn't really a conflict, but it was a really big misunderstanding, because you have to remember, Kaze Sensei is the reason why I'm in the door, understand. And also Sean Schimmel is the voice of Kazuki Dachihiro and Nas, so you have to understand he plays a very heavy role, so but we have to understand that he deals with a whole bunch of other shit. So this is contributing to their community. I want to state, this is the video I wanted to state. This is me confessing that this is a secret that I didn't really keep for a long time. So I'm going to make a short summary. So if you want to know, Sean Schimmel, if you ever wondered why you wanted to do Kamehameha how you were young, he did it first. This is saying that he thought that he was Goku first. And what if I told you that this all started because Goku told some nerds that are going through the same problem that he can fit in society. You know how I can get a girl, but I can have a Michael Jackson complex. It seems like I'm talking trying to imagine a friend about already pulled a girl, and people are saying grow up, don't have such high standards in society. That does happen to people. That has happens to a lot of people. People can easily have imaginary friends, especially when you master something. Like, imagine when you get pussy and you go to a party and you know everybody else is freaking faking and stuff like that. That happens to everyone. That happens to me, that happens to Sean, that happens to a whole lot of people. And then we start having really miscellaneous kind of things. Like, maybe I might turn gay, maybe because men are more funny and stuff like that. It's really, really a sick world out there. But you have to understand, like, really, you can't do that. You can't fall back in that. You have to really come to the middle and become a rational human being. And this is where this all plays out. So Sean really did want to tell them that they banged, but he was Goku to them. So what happened is this whole pandemic started with people stalking Sean territory because it's the voice actor of Goku. So Lily, they saw Sean get handcuffed like he normally does. He's a banger, you know, but Lily, he wouldn't be above that. You get what I'm saying? Like, he does it because he's a dad, not because like Lily, his life is full of crowds of that. He literally, so he inspired those kids and Lily off screen. So Lily, I know there's something when men go to jail on purpose to prove a point. It's so that I did it purposely. Lily, I went to jail and got myself out too like a grown ass man. And so Lily, you know, Lily, so what happened was Lily, it wasn't the fact that Sean was wrong. It was a complex situation that a nurse could view first thing. Like the time I grabbed Nurse for Peter off Family, there was this one thing, Lily, oh, don't let the guy fucking, you know, touch you. He's supposed to get to know you and stuff like that. But I was wearing all pink Lily with some fire ass glasses, Lily with a chain, Lily and shit, Lily, fucking Lily, and her fucking, you know, fucking white hair begging asses, Lily fucking in the air and shit. You're crazy, fucking. I'm trying to let you know, like they do. I'm like, yes, that was in all the cases. It's how he crafted it. It's his wardrobe with everything, nerds. It's not your business. And they made it their business, Lily. Just like they made Sean's personal business. Like, I'm a grown ass man. I have the right to do that. I know how to do that. That's not your business and shit. And Sean had the same problem, but what happened is he was on the webcam. He was talking to nerds and how to improve their lifestyle. Like, yeah, I used to think Dragon Ball Z was real too. And I even went to prison, literally fucking thinking that I was Goku, making people find the air shit. I was literally picking up people and throwing them like it was an actual show. And that happens with voice acting. Like, I try to tell Stone dumbass and Lily, I try to tell him like Winnie the Pooh like went to fucking jail for fucking stabbing stuffed animal. I try to tell him, yeah, because he was the voice actor of Winnie the Pooh. He got so much in the character that it was fucking Lily out there. But I said the educational version, because Livingstone is a faggot. You can't say the educational version for him to understand. You have to say it in the most plain way possible, else he will not process it. Like, Lily, fucking Lily, because Lily, he'll be like, well, fucking Winnie the Pooh doesn't fucking translate to abusing animals and shit. Like, Lily, you fucking stupid. Like, that's not intelligent at all. And before he said that, guess what I said? I'm like, he had muscle memory. He's like, what? I'm like, he has Winnie the Pooh muscle memory. And so Lily, he's like, Winnie the Pooh doesn't translate to abusing animals. Oh my god. But no, seriously, that is some serious shit because he fell flat for that one reason. One time he told me off screen, like, if I posted a picture like Lily with my baby mama and stuff like that, she had Lily a fake kunai to my throat and stuff like that. I'm like, this is my baby mama. And he's all like, Lily, so what makes you your baby mama, Riz? I'm like, body language. And like, Lily, and I wasn't really fucking, I did not even tell him like, well, Stone, it's not really that difficult. I kind of like fuck people all the time. It's Lily, it's fucking crazy thing. It's like Lily said that. It's like, Lily, well, give me another fucking reason. Like, Lily, give me some receipts and stuff like that. So I linked him a video of him and my other baby mama, I man, fucking family and shit. And I'm all like, well, she said this and this about food. And then he's like, no, he didn't say food. He said Victor. And that's why we have Victor and Valentino. And Stone doesn't even know, dude, when they keep things on well like that, they protect me and stuff like that. Because when I actually figured out how games work and stuff like that, Victor and Valentino is the fucking shit. I'm like, Riz, this is why you're on that Shrek shit. This is why you're on that fairy tale shit. She didn't say this, he said that. And I started fucking laughing. It's like, Riz, you laugh like that. Don't you think you're looking like artistic people right now? Lily and stuff like that. And I can only keep that aside because we lived in a world that actually supported his statement before. As ridiculous as it was, he was mid-tier and I wasn't. I was struggling to get shit on paper only because he controlled the situation with, you know what, the fucking yeah, well, anyway, fucking Lily, that's why we had to dedicate, you know, fucking this to Lily, another friend named Michael I'm talking about later on the video. So this is Lily, me trying to tell you, like, Sean Schimmel did first. Sean Schimmel had medical condition. Sean Schimmel actually had a similar relationship like with me and Lamar and Lily. Freaking, he had somebody like Lily fucking who he protected, like Lily out of nowhere. He did wear entire gang work, but Lily, I actually had a sequence for her, but he did out the fucking whip because he was trying to be a superhero. And his shit was clearer than mine, but this shit only happened for a second. You like to make fun of me and Lamar and shit, like it's random and it came out in the fucking movie. He actually fucking went to the mental hospital and sincerely this one came out just like that, Lily. That shit was hella funny. And Sancho fucking like Lily out there, like Lily, he knows he ain't gonna wear fucking anything, so he can Lily have the right to say, Lily, why'd you go all that and stuff like you have big connection? Cause I felt like it. And so nerds really let the Gabby say that this isn't really a good deal, but they know what life is. I was like, what do you mean? It's a perfectly good deal. That's a whole bunch of bullets to get to work with Goku. But the whole issue with the whole pandemic is what you have to understand about Sean versus me is how this whole thing happened was literally me and the whole crew of Funimation understood why he was having pain. So this all has to do with the downfall of Livingstone. So if you don't know, Livingstone was using a blood technique that if you don't know if you're actually getting your blood, it's that literally they compare you to somebody but what the arrow did was they didn't know what they were doing. I already beat Livingstone by being that battle that he didn't upload. So they made Livingstone somebody beat his very first battle to start season 4 where I came very close to being black, and then they say that it wasn't close. And they tried to say that black won by a landslide, and then they compared me to Livingstone for the rest. I'm like, Lee, well, fucking, they didn't take into account my personal life or anything and stuff like that, but they're really telling me to join the dark internet. I didn't know anything about this shit because I actually took advantage of, like, fan shooting back in the day. Fucking Goku, like, Lily, freaking, I'm trying to let fucking Sean and all the fucking, you know, be informed that, like, so the craziest thing, the closest thing to fan shipping that Son does for interactive things is those Dragon Ball Z force. You pretend to be the characters and shit. Like, I'm telling you, fucking, like, when you pretend to the world play and have sex with the characters, like with Gia talking to Boba and stuff, like, but y'all try talking to Boba and shit, it's crazy. Like, we can do something now, like, we're freaking making the hood style, like, you know how they have those text messages? Let's make those text messages that I put in the videos actual forms, you know? And the thing you have to understand that, with fan shipping is that provided me a whole lot of substance, when Sean didn't have that growing up at all. Sean is in his 50s, so you have to understand that literally technology wasn't even a thing back then. So guess what you have to do to get girls like today? Oh, you can start my song today. You can obviously look at my YouTube video. It's really easy to get girls today, especially if you're intellectual. But what I'm having to do, literally, if the ground is still ground up, you see, the real bad thing about this pandemic is that we're not as advanced in society as you think. Like when I was growing up, literally through high school and stuff like that, I forget we're just coming out of cell phones and stuff like that. That's literally the smartphone was just being introduced by freshman year and shit. Like literally, why is it literally I'm fucking so close? Because I feel like we should wait longer with smartphones, and I realized the reason why was because it's to lead up this entire pandemic. Because literally, what they did was they kind of made me kind of like a CIA agent. Like literally, they made me discuss things. They put me in a situation that didn't make sense, but I got everything out at a reasonable time, and they all got stuck. And what I learned about life is that literally, some people get stuck living the hood life all the way into their 30s and stuff like that. And usually, people have the revelations at 30s. I had my revelation in my early 20s, which really isn't normal, which isn't natural because you're not supposed to have it. You're supposed to be working your early 20s, but they made sure I was in the hood, so the opposite ended up happening. I ended up having hoes at the hoes. If you know how gangs work, you can't get lily hoes without having anything at your expense. When you're in a gang, you get girls. You're guaranteed girls, but you're guaranteed girls after a whole bunch of fighting. What he was doing, so what Sean did was he punked Livingstone, and he got to his house, and he's like, what the fuck are you doing and stuff like that. He dragged him over here, and I took a shot at him, and literally, but the thing is, I already settled it with Stone earlier this year, and I didn't want Sean to bring him along, so this is how this whole thing panned out. And so Sean made me do this crucifying shit with Lily, the same shit I would do, you know, non-style, the death of being sloppy. This is all based on what happened is I had some humiliation in high school where I was literally tossing my body on the ground, where I was hopping up and down like not 3 feet, but fucking 3 inches. Like I was like, why? I'm dressed better. I have all this personality. Why don't I have a girlfriend flopping on the floor like a fucking fish? But because it's an evolution, because anime is fine now that fucking Stone is obsessed with fucking everybody's asses, looking at fucking everybody, literally, and he doesn't even know that you have to fucking, we're living in the Shinobi Striker age, Stone. You can't get away with this. Come on, man. Don't come over here. You can't get away with this gay shit in this anime generation like you did with yours. You got lucky, okay? It's some of that. Please don't come around, Stone. This is professional. I'm telling you, literally. And then Sean brought him around because of his personal vendetta, because literally that was his own gang, and he disrespected his own gang by the weakest example, by putting me in the worst situation. What Livingstone was trying to do is literally fucking trying to inform Livingstone that Sean used to be held to his criminal record. There's no such a thing as getting away with your criminal record. It's not hard, but literally, when you stick like that, it's real full of shit. When you aim for higher heights and act like literally, don't let that define your fucking life. Is literally when that shit is like no longer this fucking I really did not like how fucking this guy Stone literally came through, and I had to do fucking some crazy shit. So what I started to do is I started experimenting with Stone because he tried to make it at my expense, and so Sean needed to make sure it was at my expense to a certain extent. That's why he got cuffed. In my world, there's no such thing as playing the gangster's game, because the moment you let them in, you give them the chance to do this, and that. And guess what happens when a gangster plays No Child Left Behind? You give them the opportunity to come back each and every time. And Lily, you could really, and so Lily, there was no chance of Stone exposing Sean's record before on hard, but Lily, at all, Lily, there was no chance of him because he's too real, it's too down to earth, and life is too reasonable in order for like Lily, you to be held to your past, knowing that you're a good person. Everybody knows who you are. I don't care what the fuck I see. And Stone doesn't believe in that. Everybody knows he's been tier. We don't care what the fuck you see. And it was crazy. So I started making really extreme plus size of Stones, stuff that I could really discard. So what happened is this was really mysterious if I didn't start watching J.H. Jordan and Atypical. So Sean had me talk shit to Stone in order to get my revenge over and over again. I'm like, I already had my last laugh as a professional. I understand where you're coming from. You need to get off your chest. I understand you're surrounded by all my girlfriends with fat asses, and I know you didn't get Trice's girls. I knew exactly what I was going through Sean's mind. You got Trice's made girls as me, but you had to go through gang bonds and stuff that I understand. So I'll give you this little, for you, like, I'll make sure like a little bit of sugar helps the medicine go down. Like I'll make sure that. But then he started making me do it over and over again, because I also had to deal with the gang. The gang was holding on to Stone for the reverse psychology. I'm letting know that no, I already dealt with the gang. I already tilted the gang. I already have my strategies that work every day fluidly with the gang. It's just that Lily, it was crazy as fuck. I had to talk to him, Lily. I would be starting for a fucking doobie, and then I'd fucking find one, and then I'd have to fucking talk to Stone high. It was treacherous. I would end up saying the most amazing shit, but it's not anything like Lily. That's Lily. Like Lily, I wouldn't say shit that's worth this challenge. I have 3 levels. This, when I'm fucking around, shit that I can discard, like literally shit that you can only say in the mental hospital, shit that you can't get a girl with, or you can get a girl's attention with. Like I say shit that you think is quality, but not if you're actually social. Like literally, I'm like Stone. Literally, when I toss you off of a bitch, it's like tossing a turd in a toilet. You're not mid tier. You're just fucking Black Slacky. You're just like fucking a random fucking doll that wants to hang around Chucky. That's why I commit crime. I'm like, really? I'm like, this is you, Stone. Every time the ARL makes a master scheme, hey, Chucky, I'm not sure if I can fucking do this. And so I started working like that over and over again. I'm like, really? But then Sean told me to stop. I'm like, why? Sean, it's working. I'm keeping him away. I'm not trying to get him close. Lily, I know he's not trying to expose, but he can expose something else. You don't know what lore can do, Sean. Lily, he can make little shit expand. Lily. So what I started to do is I double thought about that day. I'm like, Stone, you're not infiltrating the Funimation building. I'm gonna roast the fuck out of you, imprint you, so even if you do make your plan, your body is diluted. And I make sure it wasn't at any of our expense each and every time in my head. But then I forgot, I'm the only one with ARL training. And Sean made it at so many people's expense, making me do that shit over and over again. Because Stone is really good at talking shit. You can only talk shit to Stone if you're a grown man, because Stone lives off the internet. You don't know what to fucking expect with this guy who really draws his own shit all day, and plus he learned a fucking blood technique to make sure fucking his delivery was always concrete, where mine may be iffy at times because I'm dealing with life. And he made sure that his delivery was on point because he was full of shit to make sure that I would drop responsibility in order to dedicate my life to that style. Sean was trying to get me to do is literally, he understood that he was using reverse psychology, so Sean was trying to get me to literally waste all my big shit and cry like, why are you doing this to me? I'm still human, as a perfect dramatic way to bring the arrow back. Like, no, that is the mental condition. That I can't do that. We cannot do that, man. Like, literally, that is fucking awful. Like, that is incredibly awful. Like, literally, I understand the weight of your hold, but you gotta understand from Sean's perspective, literally, this is something that is eminent quality. This isn't something that we can 100% sleep on. We can, when non-stop backstabbing and betrayal is constant. There was a lot of ideas going into Terra vs. Raven. There's a lot of potential in that, but I was willing to let it go each and every fucking time because I'm willing to do what's safe, because he's a leech. I didn't want him infecting. So what I would do is I would roast Stone, and I let him know what he could do, but I let him know you're being hella gay. Oh, you can come back so I can whoop your ass again. I would say shit like that each and every time, and then he would try to do it again. I'm like, well, it's the next day and I'm still whooping your ass. Literally, I would be saying shit like that each and every time, and it would go just like that. I was back to work like that in order for it not to be at my expense. And Sean was making me do it over and over again like that. Like, I kept on saying, like, yo, Stone, maybe if you weren't such a pet, you want to go back to the day where I said corroborate. Instead of that, I would say literally little shit that's stuck in my head that's not at my expense, literally just random shit in order for it not for me to try, because he's trying to make me try. And Sean's like, come on, Eris, I fucking need you. I need you to fucking understand that I'm putting you through this inhuman shit to let you know you have to confess, you have to play Michael Jackson just a little bit just to literally keep them at bay, or else you'll never be in peace, because I know how nerds art, I know what the dark internet is. I've helped a whole lot of people. I'm like, not this one. You've helped a whole lot of people that really used to think Dragon Ball Z was real, that weren't entitled to feel like a rapper. Stone makes him entitled to feel like a rapper. One day he's hanging around a whole bunch of people who have dark, deep voices, but don't say real shit. It astonishes him because he doesn't grow outside. I'm like, dude, that doesn't astonish me for shit. I grew up with those people. I watched those same people get handcuffed. I know those people are stupid. And literally, you think it's the best shit ever. Oh, so my little cousin's finally hanging with the big shots. That's why I think you Stone. This isn't important like you think it is. It would be if they kept it up. Then they would have been on TV already. You know it. But you keep on bullshitting it. So I kept them away by Sean did it over and over again. And so me, Labian, and Bree, and even my favorite Bobby, we all looked at fucking Sean and said, what is wrong with you? Lily, what more do you need to know? And stuff like that. So he was wondering how was I able to make it at my expense. I didn't want to tell Sean because this could have been at my expense back when I was a huge anime fan, back when I was a virgin and shit, back when I wasn't going out in life. This would have been my expense like 3 years ago, but Lily, I made sure I packed myself with full shit techniques. Like, I'm gonna deliver something that's not that hard, but I'm gonna use your tricks and all. Like, Lily, I'm like, well, because you're a fruit, you get pound cake. Like, Lily, I would say stupid shit like that in order to fucking, just keep him away, to make sure it wasn't at my expense. Well, why is Sean making it at my expense? And it was all because it's like, this shit isn't natural to us, but it is natural because we adapted to cringe. Like, Stone having this fucking suicide tip over and over again is nothing compared to a gang fight you get into mentally too. Because Lily, I know what dying is physically and mentally. When your life defeats the purpose, you still die. Like, you become a new person and you break out of your shell. And Sean knows that more than anybody. Like, he was really trying to get in my head lately to recognize that, Lily, other people would have to sacrifice way more to get what I have. But I'm like, what more do I need to sacrifice? This isn't me, because he doesn't know the opposite of me. I don't care about gangs. I was on the street for a year and that's it. And Sal was a black for damn near fucking his entire life until he turned 40. Fuck, man. But Lee, I don't like the streets and stuff like that. I'm not trying to play their game. It was horrible. And we adapted to it because of Lily, how fucking crazy this world was already with the freaking COVID, where people really drinking out letters. People laughing at death was already a thing before COVID. But Lily, you can't have that mindset earlier today. We're in the 2020s, man. I'm telling you, man. Lily, I know fucking old people laugh at death. I know black people say other black people to get shot. I know people treat life like it ain't shit in the hood. But we can't have that mentality when we work for anime. So me and Lamaya cuffed Sean because he had enough for his shit, Lily, because he understood it well enough. And you know why? Lily, they made Low in the Sea for us. But at the same time, Sean grew up on Dragon Ball Z, and Lily, freaking, he didn't adapt to any of the other animes. He laughed at it. He looked at Naruto. It's like, oh man, it's too boring. I might have to rate. Sorry, that's perfectly understandable for an old man who needs to get his jigsaw. Really, perfectly understandable because he needs something fast-paced in order to keep his mind at bay because of how much fucking bullets he has to dodge, how much fucking martial arts he has to deal with, all that other shit. He can't focus on a little cartoon like that that's not upbeat. That's the same reason why the Platinum Boys can't watch it. That's what happens when we have a gang mentality. This could be so much more because they're gangsters, they're right. They're not looking at the fucking colors and shit and being fascinated like, what the fuck is this shit doing? So he watched it a little bit. So I got Sean, like, he watched it a little bit because Kazik is based off Kakashi. So when I show him something, I show him the most important parts and stuff like that, and then Lily, I'll show him the rest later and stuff like that in order to like Lily inform somebody. So Lily, what's been going on is he was watching Naruto in bits and pieces. I'm like, in order to deal with Stone, you have to watch all fucking Naruto, all this guy, because you gotta have to know how much he clings on to. That show alone can't give him perspective. You have to understand, Lily, what keeps him coming back. I know what keeps him coming back. He thinks Digimon is real and shit. You have to understand this isn't gonna work. And so him really being known for kung fu and fireworks and stuff like that. So me, Lily, freaking Matimo, Alberto, and even my older brother Chris all looked at Sean like, yo, this is out of pocket, Lily. And Lily, it was insane because Lily, what he made me do is Stone every day when I'm simply doing shit, so it won't be at my fist, but I don't know what's going through his mind. Isn't that? But it's a pretty good deal, a pretty good concert. I have nothing going through my mind. Like, I know this is pretty extreme. I know they laugh at that from the hood. So like me, Lily making suicidal over and over again is nothing. But at the same time, man, Lily, this is getting in the way of not only my cake, but like Lily, fucking other people's sanity. Like fucking America Ferrera Lily fucking got caught by God by Livingstone because he said something smart to her and she had to go second gear because he didn't know she was dealing with a troll. I'm like, Sean, this is why I didn't want him to get close. He may be songs for like you and us, but Lily, this isn't normal people's standards. This is Eminem standards. You have to understand that. So, like we said, like we told him, like we understand Sean, stuff like that. Yeah, we were geared at him that day. It was crazy. Straight up told him the business, like, yo, I was just watching this shit for a month. We cut off fast, silly. It's stuff like that. You still don't get, like, we still don't get the point of this, and like, and I'm like, the only reason why he does it is because a gang infects you, intoxicates you, will make you think like big shit's nothing in order to get inside. They'll stop at nothing in order to get inside your head. Anything to get their quick little high fix. They're sick fucking people and shit. If they can't get you physically, they get you mentally, but they don't know how, and that's the worst fucking part. Literally. And they have every excuse to try. You don't know how they're fucking talk. They're trying thinking like freaking everybody is fucking, they're trying literally that everybody's a fucking sick fucking rapist or fucking pedophile and shit. And literally, I come from a place where I'm like, oh yeah? What happens when you have to work with them? I live in a life of complexity, so I can never be fall for like literally reputation, a fucking deep voice and shit. Literally, I grew up really having to fight to survive. Really, I could never freaking be fall for that. And I dealt with a gang which simply does that, especially literally. You have to understand that literally. That's why I do not like gangs, and that's why literally I feel really out. But I'm very respectable towards them because I grew up around territory. And I'm telling you, L guy, he's like, I'm like, I understand where you're coming from, but this is too much. No, you don't understand. It was crazy, like literally, and we fucking locked it down. But guess what was going through their nerds mind when they see Lily? Oh yeah, you know, fucking that's her role and shit like that. So you understood what was going on, and you. Worst part about it, dirt you can't use Lord, you understand that it wasn't difficult, you understand that Sean's responsible 9 times out of 10. Every nerd that was talking this story looked at me and L, knowing that yeah, we're not kings, we're not queens, it is what it is, exactly. It really is out there because it's because he doesn't understand that. It's why he's really iffy how the gang might react. And this is really getting out of hand because my best friend, you know, my best friend who I play Yu-Gi-Oh with, Michael with, I had a really amazing duel with Lily. I would summon the blue eyes, Lily. I would summon Melody into their Awakened Dragon, and he would have this fucking leak deck, and Lily, he would have an entire leak deck, and I would trap him every time with the blue eyes. I would have Lily 2 blue eyes in the field, and then I would fucking Lily crazy as shit, like crazy as fucking. Then I would have ego boost. Like I had a blue eyes and I had an ego boost. My deck was OP. Lily, Michael had to Lily have to go to tricks and traps in order to fucking get me. It's fucking crazy. And then even I realized I wasn't even playing the game correctly like me. So what happened is during COVID, when you figured out my channel blew up, I started talking about it in the video, and he started getting a little bit more famous. And he was my example of being a nerd done right, because there was this time when me and him had a really good duel. Even though we were being stalked by the gang, I wasn't playing the game correctly. If I was playing the game correctly, I sure him I was gonna go in. And you know, literally, they used somebody as an example and stuff like that, and literally freaking, he was told that he was being a part of an Obelisk Blue, but he thought it was just a card game to Obelisk Blue, not the actual gang. So he sent Michael out to get me, so I kept Lily, and he became my best friend. Lily, I got his number and stuff like that, Lily. So what happened was Lily, so I played him at Yu-Gi-Oh! There was this black girl named Asia behind the register who was working at this, you know, figure shop, you know, for prop-ups for the, you know, the PlayStation and shit. So Lily fucking, I was talking to Asia, and I was hitting her with that hood nigga swag, like, wasn't into now. I wasn't really very anything fancy. I was wearing my brother's fucking, you know, uniform, like his college shirt and his job with the logo and shit. And literally, I was talking to him I was talking to Asia after I got the duel, but I made sure I had faith. I made sure I was somewhat different. And so I'm like, Lily, I'm like, so what's going on? And then she's like, oh, don't talk to me. I'm like, oh, don't get at me like that, Lily, and shit like that. So Lily, she's like, oh, you being weird and stuff like that, Lily. And she tried calling security and shit and stuff like that, Lily. So I'm like, okay, well, all right, then I'm just gonna go back to my. I didn't say anything. I'm like, all right, I'm sorry. And then I went back to Michael because I know how to be respectful, but I came for the hood. You get what I'm saying? So I go back to Michael. I ignore her, and she's all like, you're being weird. I'm like, if only being weird was a crime and stuff like that. After I already left and established that I was just hanging out with Michael at that point, and she's like, well, I'm gonna call security. And Michael understood the situation, like, we're on our way out. You get what I'm saying? That is what you need to be. You have to understand. You have to grow the fuck up, nerds. Did he chase pussy? Did he chase greatness? No, he was casual. He treated the game like it was supposed to be played, and he understood the situation. He understood where I was coming from. He understood where she was coming from, and he did what he wasn't overwhelmed. Like, man, you just ruined the fucking beautiful game. The devil wasn't in his head because he comes from a good family. He straight up said, yo, we're on our way out, Lily. He was respectful and he played with the situation. He looked out for both of us. You see how fucking street smart that was? No, he was being responsible. I'm done, literally. He's Lily. So what happened like earlier is I almost shunned Michael. He just cut himself and went to a mental hospital because he was a good nerd all this time and stuff like that. And he was hitting the fucking mom with complexity. He put a knife to the thread himself for his mom. But these nerds were able to let me text him because he's not able to see himself. So guess what happened when I uploaded the Julie video, nerds? Lily, I had no idea that the Julie's ass was sticking out because the ass is just an ass to me because I'm a grown ass man, dumbass. Guess what he did? He saw Julie from fucking 10 times in the video. I'm like, oh, like this isn't fucking anything. Like, it horrified him. Lily, a big ass, Lily. No words are getting away. All he saw was big ass Lily. And he tried. He went all out of the in order. He fell to Julie because Julie is extremely beautiful, but your fucking critics is making adapted. Julie's just another girl. Enough with this bullshit. So for now, we forget Sean, but definitely, we're not tolerating this shit anymore.